You could talk about the vagal nerve as well and the importance of that one if you'd like, but just nervous system in general and how obviously frequency, vibration have a ton of that. Brain and nerve are very connected as well. So wherever you want to go with that.
Love it. So yeah, the nerve, doing fitness, a lot of times we don't also work out our nerves as well. And there's a lot of amazing exercises that we get to stimulate the nerves to make us more sensitive to our bodies and what's going on around us. I'm actually creating a program of exercises where, if I can stand up forward and show, is when I'm standing here just like this, and I took my pelvis forward and my spine up, and if someone starts to push me here and I just resist from the ground up, it starts to strengthen the nerves, and my central nervous system becomes more alive and aware. And it's important to understand to exercise it because the subconscious mind controls the central nervous system. Prophetically in our body, I believe it's in Proverbs and in Romans somewhere where Solomon and Paul were speaking about how their feet is their foundation and it's their thought life, and how it takes them here and there, and showing how their feet is moving, and things that he doesn't want to do in Romans 7, and things that he does do. And he talks about the mind on it, because the feet, we end up being at some different places because of the patterns of our life, because the subconscious mind is controlling the central nervous system, and it's putting us here and it's putting us there. If we're not sharpening our senses, what the nerves actually does with the central nervous system, it's almost like the brain and the mind, how they work. The central nervous system and the subconscious mind, they can work in a way where if we know we're in this pattern and we keep on doing the same mistake, and it makes us sensitively more aware of it. Almost like intuitively more aware of it by a long shot. There's a few other ones where I take a gym ball and my spine is arched like this, and my chest is hollow, and I'm pushing them like this, and I'm grabbing it, and then I push it, and it does a real nerve working in the tissues and the nerves as well, and spine push-ups as well. The central nervous system has a big role, as you've seen with the sacred secretion. So we have nerves all throughout our body, even with our eyes. If we have burning eyes or our eyes start to go bad, it means that we don't want to see it. Or even in our ears, we don't want to hear it. And even with the nerves, our cranial nerves, the 12 of them, they represent the 12 disciples. And the nerves actually need to be disciplined because as they're carrying it through the neural pathways, and they have the spiritual senses that connect to the nerves. They have that connection that set up that frequency into the breath or the spirit realm. And it shows the first disciple is Simon Peter. Simon means the listening ear, and Peter is the stone or the rock. But his name is first the listening ear, and then his name changes to immovable, the rock, because he becomes immovable in his hearing. They call that a constant revise, because Peter's job was to guard the house, guard the gates of our house, or the gates of our consciousness.
Right. Wow.
What we let in our ears, because bad company corrupts good character if we're immature in our identity. So when we're disciplining our spiritual ear, when someone's saying negative things, we just imagine they say something different, since it creates reality, and then it moves the judgment, and it disciplines the nerve, where we can start taking self-control over our life and exercising the fruits. So I like the central nervous system is really big on self-control and discipline through a choice, because without it, it's already patternized. And then later people end up losing nerve senses, and they start becoming disconnected from their senses, and are not making disciples of all nations. And all the nations are every cell in our body will confess, I am oneness. I am, Jesus is Lord is what that means.
Right. Wow.
They're all in harmony instead of battling on the different thrones and all that.
Yeah. Gosh, beautiful to see through that lens. Wow. And then, and the vagus nerve being really important. I just wanted to touch on that real quick. The connection from brain to gut, and how you get like second brain in the gut is actually that communication between there. And I think a lot of people maybe are out of touch with their intuition because their vagus nerve has not been exercised. And so even I've been doing lately a cold plunge with a lot of humming to stimulate that vagus nerve. And then I do my speaking in the water as if I was in the womb again to rewire and speak. And it's beautiful. I love it. I could, I do it every day, but the vagus nerve. So the importance of that and how to stimulate, I think hot cold does as well, but I don't know what else you know about that.
Yeah, you're hitting them right on the head on them. Those are perfect ones with the humming, as I was learning with Evolved Ministry, that stimulates the vagus nerve, and it goes through the reticular activator system of the brainstem.
Okay.
And once it hits there, and then the reticular activator system of the brainstem is pretty much a filter of information. It's almost like doing the laser beam for the subconscious mind.
Uh-huh.
It's almost like singling the eye. So the vagus nerve is the main root before the reticular. Before we reprogram our subconscious mind, that's where we really want to start at. Right next to it is the hypothalamus.
Yes.
And that's where it says, in the Greek, they call inner chamber. Go in your inner chamber and pray to your Father in secret. And that's the
Yeah.
word thalamus. And that's where the secretion sits for 3.5 days. So that's
Wow.
actually where the source of imagination is being placed at on there. So when we meditate and relax and we're using our imagination, it can drip down the reticular activator system brainstem and into the subconscious mind. So humming, since that vibrates us up, we can set the right frequency. And so that's actually what's going on inside the anatomy when the practical ways where we're doing them like that. In the hot and cold shocking therapy, where we're shocking ourselves, it moves us from state to state like that, where we're able to feel or change. Because anything we assume in our state of consciousness is going to carry automatic behaviors behind us. So when we start shocking ourselves, it actually makes us more present in our body, in our life. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And yeah, I could even see it came to mind today after our cold therapy through someone who was doing it with me was the walls of Jericho, right? So when we get into the seventh day of completion with sound, we tear down walls that have been up for a while. And so I want to complete that work in that sound to do that. It's a beautiful story.
That is, that's perfect too.
So how about it's the word, man? There's so much. Anybody can just open up and find through seeing in the right lens of how it applies to us prophetically. It's beautiful.